Okay, again, I think that this one didn't import correctly. I believe this 30 is supposed to be somewhere else, so we're going to ignore that. We want to find the area of the shaded sector, so we need the measure of that arc. So to find the measure of that arc, we do 360 minus 73, and I get 287. So the measure of the arc is 287 over 360 times area, so this is going to be pi times r, which is 32 squared. Leave your answer in terms of pi. Means that I'm going to put all of it into the calculator except that. I'm not going to put that in the calculator. So I'm going to go alpha y equals enter 287 over 360 times 32 squared. It gives me a very ugly number. It gives me 36,736 over 45 pi. But it is what it is. Moving on to number 27. Okay, it appears those two extra numbers were just an import that was weird, and I am trying to find the measure of this angle here. So I need this arc. So I need to do 360 minus 90 minus 96. So minus 90 minus 96, 174 is the measure of this arc, and angle A is an inscribed angle, so angle A is half of 174, which means angle A is equal to 87 degrees. Okay, this one is a tangent-tangent angle. The vertex is outside the circle, so it could be half the difference, but we know a tangent-tangent angle and the arc it intercepts are supplementary. So I know that this arc right here is 150 degrees, which means arc ACD, which is what they're asking for, is 360 minus 150, which is 210 degrees. All right, sorry about the gap. This one is another like what we just did. It's a tangent-tangent angle, but there's a little more to it. This is a central angle, so it means this is the same. And then this plus the question mark equal 180. So 180 minus 115 is 65 degrees. That's arc AB. That's the measure of angle C. All right, on number 30, it's this diagram right here. And I know that this is 6 and this is 6. I also know it's tangent, so that's a right angle. And this is 12. So essentially, I have a right triangle with a 6 and a 12 here. So the hypotenuse is 12. So 12 squared minus 6 squared is equal to AB if I take the square root. So I'm going to type all that into my calculator. And I get around 10.4. But what if it wants it in terms of radicals? So this is really 108 under there. So if we have to break down 108 into a factor tree, it would be 2 and 54, 2 and 27, then 3 and 9, 3 and 3. So I have a pair of 3s and a pair of 2s. So this would be the square root of this guy is stuck, and then a 6, 2 times 3, so 6 radical 3. All right, and things are kind of jumbled up here. So I'm going to scroll up and give myself a little bit of room over here for question 31. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. That's the area of a triangle. And I know the area of the triangle is 72. I know the base is 18, and I want to find the height. So half of 18 is 9. 72 divided by 9 is 8. So here, H is 8. That's for number 31. 32, it says find the area of a circle whose circumference is 26. So in order to do that, it's going to be the circumference is 2 pi r. So if I know that my circumference is 26 pi, the pi's cancel, divide by 2, and that means that r is 13. So then the area is pi r squared, and 13 squared is 169. So 169 pi. The solid figure to the right is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided, so a hexagonal. And it's a prism because the faces are bases, so a hexagonal prism. On number 34, the plane that intersects parallel to the bases. So my bases are these triangles. So if I intersected parallel to the bases, my cross section would be a triangle. All right, so number of faces. Let's see. I want faces plus vertices is equal to edges plus 2. So does this equal this? So 19 and 19, yes. Does this equal this? 25 plus 29 is 54, and this is 53, so no. This equal this. 7 plus 4 is 11, this is 11, so yes. The volume of this silo, so I have to find the volume of 2 different pieces. The first piece is the cylinder at the bottom. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the h, and then the volume of the cone that's on the top. So the volume of the cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. So r in both of these is the same. In both of these problems, r is 8, half of the diameter. The heights change. So for the first one, it's going to be pi times 8 squared, and my height is 10. For my second one, the volume is 1/3 pi. My r is the same, 8 squared, but this time my height is 5. So it says nearest tenths, so I'm going to plug all of that into my calculator, and I'm going to add these two together. So nearest tenth. So I'm going to type into my calculator second and then the caret key, 8 squared times 10 plus alpha y equals enter 1/3 second pi, so caret key pi, times 8 squared times 5. And that gives me somewhere around 2,345.72, so 7 meters cubed because it's volume. Number 38, I want the volume of a sphere, so 4/3 pi r cubed, or 4/3 pi, and our diameter is 16, so we want the radius, which is 8 cubed. Alpha y equals enter 4/3 second caret key, so that gives me the pi, 8 caret key to get to the third power. So that is, in terms of pi, JK. So since it's in terms of pi, I'm going to do all of this, but I'm going to leave out that pi button. So I'm going to go grab that, and I'm going to delete that guy, and that gives me something very ugly, but it's exactly equal to 2,048/3 times pi. The volume of my right rectangular prism is just 3 times 3 times 5. 3 times 3 times 5. Area of the base, 3 times the height, 5. So 3 times 3 times 5 is 45 meters cubed. And the volume of my cylinder in terms of pi is volume is pi r squared h. So volume is pi, r is 12 squared times 10. And it's in terms of pi, so same thing. I'm not going to put the pi button in. So 12 squared times 10 gives me 1440 pi. And that is everything on your review. Now don't forget, it is always a good idea to use your calculator when it's available. That is really important for question number 41. Also, if you will write one positive thing and one thing you hope to change in the future for our class, for this geometry class, in the outside box, outside of where your multiple choice is, then I will give you extra credit on the final exam. So that is one thing that you liked about the class and one thing you hope will change in the future about the class. Have happy studying.